Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to our lesson from the book Fiqh Ul Muyassar. Shurutu Sihati Tayammum. Conditions of validating Tayammum. The author states, لا يصح التيمم إلا إذا اجتمعت ثمانية شروط. Tayammum is not permissible except when 8 conditions are met. ثمانية شروط, 8 conditions. الشرط الأول, the first condition is النية, intention, نية. فلا يصح التيمم بدون النية. Tayammum is not correct, it is not valid without an intention, without making an intention. This is not the case for wudu. Making an intention for wudu is sunnah. Before performing wudu, if one makes an intention of attaining purification, this is a sunnah amal action. If he doesn't do so, his wudu will still be valid. But for tayammum, he must make an intention before performing tayammum. So if he performs the actions of tayammum without intending tayammum, or he performs the actions of tayammum to show others how to perform tayammum, the practical method of tayammum, but he has no intention of performing tayammum, of attaining purification, his tayammum will not be valid, if he does not intend tayammum. What is niyyah? Niyyah aqdul qalbi ala al-fi'li, affirmation of the heart upon the action. In your mind, you know why you are going to perform tayammum. You want to attain purification. So this is an intention, niyyah. The thought that is present in your mind. Affirmation of the heart upon the action. This is the definition of niyyah. يشترط في نية التيمم الذي تصح به الصلاة أن ينوي واحدا من ثلاثة أمور. It is a condition in the intention of tayammum that in order for his prayer to be correct with that tayammum, with it, أن ينوي, that he intends واحدا من ثلاثة أمور, one from the following 3 intentions. So for his salah to be correct with the tayammum he performs, it is a condition that he intends an intention from the following 3 intentions. In his intention of tayammum, when he makes his intention of tayammum, he must make one of the following 3 intentions, otherwise he cannot offer salah with the tayammum he performs. So it is a condition in the intention for tayammum that in order for his salah to be correct with it, bihi tasihhu alladhi tasihhu bihi salatu, أن ينوي, that he intends واحدا من ثلاثة أمور, one of the following 3. The first is أن ينوي الطهارة من الحدث, that he intends tahara, purification, من الحدث, from ritual impurities. There are 2 types of hadath, ritual impurity. You have al-hadathul asghar, which is the minor ritual impurity, and you have al-hadathul akbar, which is the major ritual impurity. Al-hadathul asghar, minor ritual impurity, refers to the state of that person who is not in wudu, who invalidated his wudu. And al-hadathul akbar is the state of that person upon whom ghusl is fard, the major ritual ablution. The one who goes into the state of janabah, major ritual impurity, i.e. the one who had intercourse or the one who experienced nocturnal emission, etc. The major bath will become obligatory upon him. So this person is known to be in the state of al-hadathul akbar, major ritual impurity. So in order for one to perform salah with the tayammum, before he performs that tayammum, one of the intentions he must make is that he intends tahara min al-hadath, he intends purification from ritual impurities. وَلَا يَلْزَمَ تَعْيِينَ الْحَدَثِ فِي النِّيَّةِ, and it is not necessary to specify a ritual impurity in his intention, i.e. he doesn't have to mention that he's going to perform tayammum in order to attain purification from minor ritual impurity or major ritual impurity, but he can just make an intention that he's going to perform tayammum in order to attain purification from ritual impurity or ritual impurities. Yeah. So وَلَا يَلْزَمَ تَعْيِينَ الْحَدَثِ فِي النِّيَّةِ, it is not necessary تَعْيِينَ الْحَدَثِ فِي النِّيَّةِ, to specify a hadath, a ritual impurity, فِي النِّيَّةِ, in his intention. The second intention he must make is أَن يَنْوِيَ اسْتِبَاحَةَ الصَّلَاةِ, that he intends to make salah permissible for himself. If he intends to make salah permissible for himself, with this tayammum he can perform salah. Yeah. So he intends salah. Yeah. He's performing this tayammum, so salah can become permissible for him, so he can perform salah. أن ينوي عبادة مقصودة لا تصح بدون طهارة كالصلاة وسجدة التلاوة, that he intends عبادة مقصودة, a specific act of ibadah, worship, لا تصح بدون طهارة, that is not valid without tahara, without purification, كالصلاة, like salah, like the prayer, وَسَجْدَةِ التِّلَاوَةِ, and like the prostration of recitation, when one recites a verse of sajdah, prostration. So he either must intend to make salah permissible for himself, or he must intend to attain purification from ahdath, from ritual impurities, or either he must intend a specific act of worship, that he's going to perform tayammum, so he can perform such an act of worship that is not correct to be performed without purification, like salah. Yeah, one needs wudu. Without wudu, one cannot offer salah. Without purification, one cannot offer salah. So in his intention, he must intend such an act of worship that must be performed. One must attain purification before performing that act of worship. It is not correct. One cannot perform that act of worship without tahara, without purification. Like salah, the prayer, one needs wudu. Yeah? He can't perform salah without wudu. So if he intends salah before he performs tayammum, that he's going to do tayammum so he can offer the salah, this is a valid intention. With this tayammum, he can perform salah. Yeah, because salah is such an act of worship that cannot be performed without tahara, purification, without attaining purification. وَسَجْدَةِ التِّلَاوَةِ, and also prostration of recitation. One, without attaining purification, he can't perform the prostration of recitation, sajda tilawat. Yeah, so this is such an act of worship that requires purification. لو تيمم بنية مس المصحف لا تصح صلاته بهذا التيمم لأن مس المصحف ليس بعبادة أصلا وإنما العبادة هي تلاوة القرآن. The author states, لو تيمم بنية مس المصحف, if he performs tayammum with the intention of touching the Quran, mushaf meaning Quran, لا تصح صلاته بهذا التيمم, his salah will not be valid with this tayammum. He cannot offer salah with this tayammum. Why? لأن مس المصحف ليس بعبادة أصلا, because touching the Quran is not ibadah, is not an act of worship in reality. وإنما العبادة هي تلاوة القرآن, but in reality the act of worship, ibadah, is the recitation of Al-Quranul Kareem. So وَإِنَّمَا الْعِبَادَةُ هِيَ تِلَاوَةُ الْقُرْآنِ, that the act of worship is touching, is reciting the Quran, is recitation of Al-Quranul Kareem. So if he performs tayammum with the intention of touching the Quran, he can't offer salah with this tayammum, because touching the Holy Quran is not an act of worship. And above we learnt the mas'ala that he must intend a specific act of worship that requires tahara, purification. Yeah? And touching the Quran, yes, it requires purification, but it is not a specific act of worship. Touching the Quran is not an act of worship, but reciting the Quran, this is an act of worship, ibadah. كذا لو تيمم بنية الأذان أو الإقامة لا تصح صلاته بهذا التيمم. Likewise, if he performs tayammum with the intention of saying the adhan or the iqamah, adhan, call of prayer, أو الإقامة or the iqamah, كذا لو تيمم بنية الأذان أو الإقامة لا تصح صلاته بهذا التيمم. كذا لو تيمم بنية الأذان أو الإقامة لا تصح صلاته بهذا التيمم. So if he performs tayammum with the intention of saying the adhan or iqamah, his salah will not be permissible with this tayammum. Why? لأن الأذان والإقامة ليس بعبادة مقصودة في ذاتهما, because the azan and the iqama are not specific acts of worship في ذاتهما, in their essence. Okay, they are linked to the salah. The salah is a specific act of worship. So the azan and iqama, they are not specific acts of worship, and one can say the adhan without wuzu. Yeah. So they are not specific acts of worship. The salah is a specific act of worship. وكذا لو تيمم بنية تلاوة القرآن وهو محدث حدثا أصغر لا تصح صلاته بهذا التيمم. And likewise, if he performs tayammum with the intention of reciting the Quran وهو محدث, whilst he is in the state of ritual impurity, وهو محدث حدثا أصغر, whilst he is in the state of minor ritual impurity. Al-Hadathul Asghar is minor ritual impurity. لا تصح صلاته بهذا التيمم, his salah will not be valid with this tayammum. with this tayammum. Why? لأن التلاوة وإن كانت عبادة مقصودة. Because recitation of the Quran is not a specific act of worship, is a specific act of worship. ولكنها تصح بدون الوضوء. But one can perform it without wudu. But it is correct to be performed without wudu. Yeah? If you haven't got wudu, you can still recite the Quran. So if one made an intention before performing tayammum that he will perform tayammum, so reciting the Quran can become permissible for him, so he can recite the Quran, then with this tayammum he cannot offer salah. Why? Because he has intended an act of worship that is correct to be performed without tahara, without purification. And in order for him to offer salah with the tayammum he performs, he must intend such an act of worship that is not correct to be performed without purification, without tahara. And in this case, reciting the Holy Quran without wudu is permissible, is jaiz for him. Yeah? Without tahara, without purification. Yeah? This is reciting the Quran by heart, not touching the Quran. But if he was in the state of major ritual impurity, and before performing tayammum, he intended that he was going to do tayammum so he can recite the Quran, then with this tayammum he can offer salah. Why? Because reciting the Quran in the state of major ritual impurity is not permissible. So if he makes this intention, he's intending an act of worship, reciting the Quran, and in his situation he can't recite it without tahara. He can't recite it in the state of major ritual impurity, so he is in need of tahara, purification. So in this situation he is intending such an act of worship that requires tahara in his situation, because he is in the state of major ritual impurity. So with this intention he can offer salah. But if he was in the state of minor ritual impurity, then he cannot make this intention of reciting the Quran. He can't offer salah if he makes the intention that he is going to do tayammum so he can recite the Quran, because reciting the Quran is permissible for him without tahara, purification. Insha'Allah ta'ala, I will stop here. Allah ta'ala grant us all the ability to understand our beautiful deen al-Islam, to learn the ahkam, and to act upon the teachings of al-Islam. Ameen. Bijahin Nabiyil Ameen. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.